Hi, my name is Dustin Osterman, and this is my podcast that focuses on writing a resume. The purpose of writing a resume is to tell who you are and where it is that you want to go. In order to keep your resume up to date, you want to change it on a regular basis and to add the relevant things. Your resume shouldn't be the same for each job that you apply for. You will want to change your resume for each different job. And now we're going to get into the things that you should include into your resume. First of all, you want to start with the heading. The heading should include your name, address, telephone number, and email address. And make sure that your email address is appropriate for professional settings. Here are some examples of some inappropriate email addresses. Yes, it may be funny to you, but some professionals will throw your resume away right away. If you have to, go to any free email site and get one for professional reasons. Smart things you want to keep in mind when you're making your email address is to watch for different characters that may look alike. You do not want to underline your email address either. And as far as your telephone number, put down one that goes to a voicemail so that if they call and you are not around, they can leave a message. Be creative with your resume to make it stand out, and stay away from using templates. And now we'll talk about career objectives. Writing a career objective is not recommended unless it is the norm of your career field. To find out if it is the norm, be sure to do research on this career field to avoid from making mistakes. And now we will talk about including your education record. When you are writing about your education record, it is probably a good idea to not include high school information because it was a long time ago. However, you may want to include that you did receive your high school diploma. The information that you do want to include in your education record is all institutions or schools that you have attended, your major and or minor, degrees that you have earned or are approaching, thesis information if it applies to you, and certificates earned. You do not want to include your GPA unless it is required or it is high. And now we will take a look into what is becoming one of the most vital pieces of information on your resume: related work experience. Employers need to know who, what, when, where, why, and how you did what you did and your work experience. It is important to include the following information about your work experience: the exact title of your position, the actual dates of employment, the name and address of the employer, and the name of your immediate supervisor. You will also want to include any achievements that you have accomplished in this job. You can do this by using bullet points and short sentences. Branching off from your work experience is non-related work experience. It is probably best to only include this information for important reasons. For example, if it shows that you are trustworthy or cooperative, or it helps you get this job for any other reason, go ahead and include it. Some things that show this are handling money and customer service. And if you have ever worked in a leadership position, you would probably want to include that. And now it's time to talk about professional skills and development. In this section, you'll want to include any computer proficiencies, which is talking about computer software or programs that you know. You will also want to include any equipment that you can work, certificates that you have earned, professional organization membership, professional conferences that you have attended, or professional presentations that you have given. You may also want to include any campus involvement that you have, and whether it was voluntary or not. The final thing you want to include in your resume is your professional references. This is the part of your resume that you want to include contact information for those people that can say good things about you. First of all, you want to put this on a separate piece of paper from your resume. You want to check with your reference and make sure that it is okay with them. Give them a copy of your resume to keep them informed of what it is that you do, and include their name, their title, their phone, preferably work and home if possible, their address and email address. And in order to keep your resume balanced, it is good to have both men and women on your references. And keep in mind that you want to have about 4 to 7 references on this piece of paper. Do not exceed 7. Now let's take a look at what your cover letter should have. In your cover letter, you will want to have about 3 or 4 paragraphs that talk about your interests and your qualifications for this job. You will want to be sure to be brief when writing this, but also be efficient. And do your research. Make sure you know the title of the person that you're writing to. Always sign your cover letter at the bottom with black ink. Here I have listed what your paragraph should look like. I'll give you a few moments to take a look at what I have. To finish things up, here are some final thoughts for you. Use thick paper when you print out your resume, and do not staple it. Use colored paper clips. It will help stand out in a pile of resumes. Be sure to not fold your resume. If you are mailing it, put it in a big envelope so you do not have to fold it. Never abbreviate. Always spell things out to make sure the employer knows what you are talking about. And always be sure to check for spelling and grammar mistakes. I would suggest only applying for the positions that you are qualified for. And as I said earlier, do not use templates. Create your own resume and make it your own. It is not good to have a lengthy resume or cover letter. Employers will be turned off by this. Always put the most relevant subject first on your resume. You will want to lure them in with information, not draw them away. Also, keep in mind to use action words. Here are some listed on this page. Do your best to be honest and ethical, and do not brag about your accomplishments on your resume. Keep in mind that employers are starting to look through applicants' MySpace and Facebook accounts, so keep your profile clean. And I highly suggest researching a company to make sure it matches to what you want. Before I go, here is an example of a resume that you may want to take a look at. And keep watching for an example of a reference page. Thanks for watching, and once again, I am Dustin Osterman. See you next time.